Y'all know what it is. It's the Find the Boxer game. Purchase a box for a chance at winning $500. One of 54 boxes has a missing boxer inside. Purchase your box or boxes by Cash Apping, $, usual 50/50. Include your box number, name, and email address. Your box number will be confirmed and sent directly to your email. Each box is $20, with a 1 in 54 chance of winning. Remaining proceeds will go directly to the LDBC meet and greet in Las Vegas. Shout out to the LDBC, and remember,
it's a usual suspect day.
Y'all know what it is. It's the usual suspect 650-50 draw. Buy your tickets now for your chance at winning half the pot. Cash App, $, usual 50/50. Tickets are on sale for $10 for one, $20 for 3 tickets, and $50 for 10 tickets. Put your desired amount, name or alias, as well as your email address, and your tickets will be set. We announce the winning ticket numbers every other Friday on Supreme Beats Boxing Talk Bullshit on the Beltway, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Remaining proceeds will go directly to the LDBC meet and greet in Las Vegas. Shout out to the LDBC, and remember,
it's a usual suspect day.
Weight enough flex, the live is 1 in the 6. With the runner boy, you nigga, no question. You will run a motherfucker high stepping. Hey, you never had a big enough weapon. Motherfucker never learned your lesson. I'm a 88 pack nigga. I'm a 88 pack nigga. I mean, day walker, drink blood, fangs out, full moon, motherfucker change like a hoe. I'm just a nigga from the hood trying to stack a little cheddar for the money.
Yeah, buddy. Yeah, buddy. Wait, baby. Drew Titan Bronx on deck. Shout out to the mighty LDBC. I'm Drew Titan. That's Stormy B, man. We're going to talk some boxing this evening because something happened yesterday that I did not expect. And I must say, I'm going to play something for y'all during the show that actually stole the show. It wasn't on air. It was off air, but somebody recorded it, and I'm going to elaborate on it. Let's do this roll call real quick. Steve Elder Mack, Jamal Davis, Jimmy Bernard, Anwar Willis, I Rock, my brother, Mark Wunderlich, KBGJ, Macadose, Mac of the South, Salute, Chilltown Majors, Todd Swindle. Y'all must have forgot. Jeff Spark, my brother, always supporting in the building. Salute. Light Eyes, what's going on? Real Spill, the final boss in the building. Ratchet since 91, Eric O. Razor, what's going on? Where you been, good brother? Stephen X, always supporting. Salute to you, brother. My brother, Coach Hudson, in the building. Salute, brother. What's going on? Dale Blackwood, salute. Smash the like button, like and share the video, ladies and gentlemen. Y'all make sure y'all subscribe to the Painful Excellence podcast. That's my backup channel. And I dual stream for a reason. Yeah. We are our own algorithm. Do not leave it up to YouTube to like a video or share a video for us. We are completely removed from the algorithm, so we do it ourselves. Marcus, what's going on? My brother Steve Elder Mack in the building early in the super chat. He said simply the best. Absolutely. Tay Jones in the building. What's going on? Young Hollywood, salute. So let's get to it, man. First of all, I said it in my short video last night. I'll say it again. Y'all didn't hear me pick a winner for this fight. Y'all didn't hear me talk about it really. I kind of forgot it was coming up. The only thing I spoke about was the egg in the face. That was hilarious. You already know how I feel about Conor Benn. You know, he deserved that smack in the face with the eggs. He actually had a short I was going to put up about him, and I just never did it because I have a full-time life, yo. I was sitting right here on my phone. Had a funny ass short that I was gonna put out on him. You know, I still might do it, you know, because I'm just like that. But really didn't care about this fight. They were like weight classes apart. You saw the size difference in the ring. But from the first round, I said, man, he's really trying to take his head off, isn't he? And I said, he can't do this past 6 rounds. He's gonna get tired. But he was in there throwing him, man. And as the fight went on, I said, you know what? This ain't bad. Round 3, I said, this ain't bad. I like Chris Eubanks sticking that jab in his chest and his face. He showed you that a really good boxer will beat a really good puncher. Like maybe 90% of the time, 95% of the time. Because I'm telling you, down the stretch, when Eubanks decided, well, you know what? I'm going to go in order. I don't want to just jump all over the place with this fight, man. But it turned out to be a fun fight, man. We're in the 4th month of the year. That's a runner-up for fight of the year, y'all. That's a runner-up so far. And I'm going to shout them out because I was entertained. I was thoroughly entertained. Shout out to the UK. They packed the house. You see, that's what I'm talking about. The crowd was split, but everybody came out. And I wonder, on the other side of YouTube, were there Conor Benn and Eubanks fans fighting the way that the Errol and Bud fans was fighting over here? Were they gangbanging over there? Yeah, I stab you. Yeah, I stab you in the face. Yeah, I gun you, I shoot you. Yeah. Were they doing that over there? I'm just wondering because I don't know. Because I'm looking at that event. It didn't look like it. Salute to Boxing Fan Times 4 in that super chat. Salute to you, good brother. He said, Ben taught us to eat your eggs. Tay, how you doing? I guess. But I would, Michael Fleming, salute. If I miss you in the chat, know that I love you. Dara, what up? Shaquilla, salute. Xavier, what up? 65,000 in attendance. Whoa. Internal MMA, salute. DOG, word? Oh, yeah, DOG's out there. Salute. But Chris Sr. said something on the way out. I recorded it. I'm going to make it a short, but he said something very key. But Rob, what up? I was thoroughly entertained, man. I was thoroughly entertained. Stormy, your thoughts?
Salute to the chat. I can't type to keep up with everybody, so greetings to everybody, family in the chat. This is at the top of my list for fight of the year thus far. It's still early. We're still in the first quarter of 2025, but damn, is it been a 2025 first quarter. It's one of the major reasons why I've always maintained that people should watch boxing, not just individuals, because there are stories and storylines, bylines to boxing, and whether you know someone or not, whether they're from familiar territory or from far away, what happens with the sport of boxing is when it's going the correct way, there's no other sport that can entertain you like the sweet science. Mm-hmm. And I did my share of promoting this event, talking about it. During certain live streams, I would talk about it was upcoming. I've already stated what I had to say about Conor Benn. So knowing that, coming into this, it's like, it's like beating a dead horse just to drain it. But I also made a point to explain to the audience that over there, Nigel Benn and Chris Eubanks Sr. brought an entertainment for boxing to their people in that part of boxing world that is quite like what we had with Ali Frazier. And I say Ali Frazier and not any of the other weight division top-notch battles between fighters, because it was of that proportion when it came down to them. Not necessarily for us, but for them over there. And you have to understand the climate. So when I was talking about it, I was trying to let people know that there was a real byline here with the offsprings of the dads looking to get after one another, knowing the difference in the weight classes and everything. Hearn really wanted this fight. And there was a story there because Eubanks Sr., when he was fighting and he challenged Benn back in, what was that, 91, 92, something like that. I don't remember the exact.
I think it was 1990 on the nose, I think.
Yeah. But when he challenged Benn, Benn was the WBO middleweight champion and he was the challenger. He was quite eccentric, but had not yet developed that moniker that he adopted later, where they say simply the best. And he was already jumping over the top ring rope and everything. And it was he who that Prince Nassim Muhammad patterned himself after. He was in the gym with Eubanks Sr. when Eubanks Sr. was doing his thing, sparring, this and that. So young Prince Nassim was there witnessing all of this. And there's an image captured out there on the internet somewhere when Benn and Eubanks were fighting, and a young Prince is sitting in the audience. You can see him in the background, and he's like this, watching the fight. So I'm trying to give you all a little backdrop to how significant this was for the people over there. But if you love boxing, it's supposed to be significant for you too. Because the end result of what you were able to witness from last night's battle tells you everything that you love about the sport of boxing.
Yeah. Yes.
I do not remember a fight between two, let's call them high profile, because out of the UK they are high profile fighters. I do not recall a match where two high profile fighters fought with such intensity, combative nature and spirit, ebb and flow, threat of peril for 12 rounds. You might see it at some point, during the fight, pick up and it drag down, or it be dragging down, then it picks up. But this was 12 rounds, these guys were going, and it changed through the fight. It started out with Benn taking these gambles with these huge risk winging shots he couldn't land, and Eubank was boxing him and sticking that jab in his face and everything. And then Benn was able to land a couple of shots that shook things up a little bit, and then you could see that Eubank was like, okay, I got to get a little more serious about this. But Benn had got some momentum going. Then it changed again when Benn just kind of threw caution in the wind and said, I'm going to go after him and start trying to walk him down. It was so amazing. I'm sitting there, and by rounds 10 through 11, I'm sitting there in my little clapping my hands and I'm cheering at the TV. I was like, get it, boys, get it. And it didn't matter who. I'm just loving it because
that right there.
It was a performance that was. It was almost like watching a Rocky movie. Do you remember when Rocky was like on the cusp of being murdered by Ivan Drago?
Mm-hmm.
And then he threw a punch and it cut Drago.
He said he's cut. He cut him.
He's cut. And then the fight changed and Rocky started coming on. And when I saw that film in the theater for the first time, the audience was cheering and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, so I'm sitting there at home watching it like this, right? And I'm highly entertained, bro. And I'm watching this and I'm saying, look at these two dudes. I said, they don't want to lose. They both have the same psychological approach to this. I can't lose to this chump. You know what I mean? And it made for must-see TV.
Yep.
It was one of the most amazing fights. And I said it during my post-fight show yesterday. I said, I don't recall, and I watched a lot of boxing. I don't recall ever seeing a fight like that from round 1 to round 12 with all of these narratives that played out through the action. And I was so impressed with them that when I did my call-in this morning, which I'm mad at everybody because nobody wanted to call in this morning with such a wonderful affair last night that should have been talked about. I was a little bit emotional about it because this is what I crave from the sport of boxing. When you hear me being critical of fighters, you saw firsthand by men that you don't even like, men you don't even care for, men that you don't even talk about, gave you every freaking thing that you crave from the guys you do love, that you do support, that you do watch and tune in to. They don't lay it on the line like you saw last night. And you saw what boxing can be when it's done right. When people go in with the right focus, when they go in. And I'm going to tell you, it got even better when you saw Chris Sr. step out of that Rolls Royce and arrive at the arena with his son. I was like, oh, and you could hear the fans cheering because they was playing it on the Jumbotron when they drove up into the arena and those guys got out the car. It was one of the most beautiful moments in sports. It was like when Willis Reed came out of the tunnel.
Knicks. That was 73.
And
thought he had a knee injury.
Right? It was the same.
Yeah.
See, if you know sports, you know that I'm not lying when I say this about how the stories and bylines can really move the people. This was amazing. And then they fought at that level for 12 rounds. And my goodness, how about Chris Eubanks Jr.'s ring walk? Dude, I had goosebumps. He comes out to his dad's song, Simply the Best. And he's standing there sucking it all in. And then they play his song. He had live orchestra up there playing. And he's doing his ring walk. I was like, man, are you not entertained? This is, they know how to do it, man. But if you claim to love the sport of boxing, show up for the sport of boxing.
You know what? This is why I have the Union Jack waving in the background. Because I give credit where it's due. I have no problem. Now, again, we all know Benn has had some issues. He's not out the woods yet, but we're dealing with the now. And I'm gonna tell you something. American fight fans, fanatics, some of you blokes, that's what they call y'all, right? Blokes, that's what they say over there in the UK, you bloke. That's what they say in Australia, you bloke. Some of you blokes didn't even watch that last night. And like I said, this fight was not on my radar. But I have the zone. It was only 24 bucks. Give me a minute, Xavier. Give me a minute. And I said, I'll just buy it. It's all right. The event was overall pretty good at that. The event was pretty good. And then
Drew, I called you to tell you about the opening fight, which was Bill and Smith.
Oh, by the way, Stormy, I had to watch it again. I just got home when Eubanks hit the ring. Okay. And I saw his dad there. I said, "Oh shit!" I said, "Yo!" So they played it up, but I watched the overall event, and I said, "This wasn't bad."
No,
but
it was
when they pulled the camera back, you saw all the people there. I said, "Hold on." You see, I always said, and I'll sit up when I say this. UK, and I need you to listen carefully. As far as support goes, listen carefully. As far as support goes, UK got the best fans in the world when it comes to boxing. They came out, and I need you guys to understand how they outworked you fools here in America. Do y'all understand? I'm gonna break the glass, y'all. Gonna break the glass. Eubanks and Benn, that is supposed to be Devin and Tank. You idiots. You dummies. Do you know there was people there, Eubanks and Benn, but they were all there drinking beer and high-fiving? Do you understand? That's how we're supposed to be. It ain't supposed to be nasty and disgusting. They could be nasty and disgusting with each other. That ain't got nothing to do with us. We should be toasting like, they're going to fight, and who you got? Oh, man, this is what I got. And we should be high-fiving. Instead, we gangbanging each other. What? What's going on?
The same thing with Errol and Bud.
Errol and Bud.
That was the biggest fight in boxing at the time when they fought, and it didn't blow up like it was supposed to because you guys are in your feelings about, you don't want this guy to fight this guy. You don't want this guy to fight that guy, and you're not supporting the damn sport.
That's the problem.
It could have been equally like this because those two men are not even freaking world titleists, bro.
Why do you think Turkey said don't even wave those belts? He understands. And guess what? Guys like Floyd Mayweather and what Tank Davis says about they disregarded the belts. You got the WBA with their foolishness. You got the WBC with franchise stats. Don't worry about the fighters. The sanctioning bodies devalue their own product. So F them. Get your money from Turkey, but Turkey's going to put you in there with your contemporary. And I'm cool with it because I paid and I was not disappointed. I had to run the whole thing back last night. I was not disappointed last night.
This is
so
what
I'm going to shout out Eubanks and Benn.
This is what I want to say. Someone had said during my show, I don't remember who it was. They were saying that, salute to Chris Eubank. I said no. Salute to both fighters because it would not have happened without the other guy.
That's right.
You see, again, stop giving honor and acknowledgement to one individual. And you only did that, and some of you only say that because whomever you wanted to win or whatever won. But you support the sport, and everyone is elevated as a result of it. You cannot tell me that there were not other professional fighters, American or international, that watched that event and didn't get moved by it. The entire fight was like the 10th round of Evander Holyfield and Riddick Bowe. If you ever saw that fight, that 10th round is a historical round for that fight. But this entire fight was like that. The electricity, the intensity of the fighters, the focus of the fighters. There was no playing around. They were in serious business, engaged in there to the degree, and I gotta say this before I forget my train of thought on this, Drew and chat, that Chris Eubanks Jr. went to the hospital after the fight to make sure that he was checked out and everything. And word has it that he's doing good. He'll stay there until I think today or tomorrow, and then he'll return home. But they say he's good. But the man who really should have gone to the hospital too is Benn. If you saw him sitting at that post-fight press conference, he looked like he needed to see a physician. He did. And I hope he's okay, because I don't want anything bad to happen to men that put on like this. It is very fortunate that they got paid what they got paid, because they earned every nickel, dime, and cent of it. But like I'm known to do, I still be concerned about the health, welfare, and being of the fighters. And I would like for Benn, stop trying to be so damn macho. Go to the hospital and see a physician, brother, and make sure you're okay as well. Because if you see those still shots, you can't see it live.
Right.
But you see the still shots of him on that dais talking at the press conference. He looked like he needed a doctor, a medic. He did. And that, I'm not putting him down. I'm not trying to make fun or ridicule. I'm very serious when I say what I say, because that is important. For the output that you had, you were fighting a man that was 2 divisions bigger than you. Yeah, you endured a lot, but please go and get yourself checked out just to make sure that you're good, and go from there. But thank you both for what you did, because man, you men gave boxing a shot in the arm that it needed. And salute to Turki Al-Sheikh, because this is what he has done since he has come into the picture. He has put us on to what it could be if you allow yourself to buy into it. And this wasn't a Riyadh season event. It was a Ring Magazine event, which Turkey still oversees that. So, man, salute to everyone involved. Salute to the dads for showing so much class when they came out there with their sons. They took photos. They
sat next to each other ringside.
Things, bro. It was one of the most beautiful things that I can ever recollect surrounding a boxing event and promotion. It was A+.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you remove the sanctioning bodies, imagine what you can get as a supporter of the sport. Imagine what the guys that actually want to prove that they're great, imagine what they can achieve while getting a shitload of money and proving that they're the best with no belts involved. Imagine going to BoxRec saying he fought this guy. It forces people to educate themselves. No longer you'll be able to say, how many times, now watch this, let me talk to the Bud fans. How many times people tried to discredit Bud for what he did at 140? Oh, well, he beat Ndongo. Who's Ndongo? He was a champion. He beat him. So what? He beat him. Oh, but what has he done? He beat him, man. He did it. But if you remove the belts away and just look at it forces people to get educated. Well, who's this guy? Okay, I don't care about the belt he had. What did he do? It forces people to educate themselves. And no longer with these foolish mortals coming to our goddamn chats thinking that they know things. Oh, he was 8 division, 14 division titleist. Shut up. Shut up. You got to know the person. You got to know these people. It forces people to educate. Man, listen. Last night, I will say this was historic. I didn't know that the sons of these 2 legends were going to go in there and do that. I had no idea. And they showed up. This is the definition of, to my people in the UK, we say over here, show up and show out. Y'all showed y'all ass last night in attendance, in support, in class. Both of the fathers showed class. Both of the athletes showed class. My God, that was boxing. There was not one round that went by that I kept saying, Benn could land a hook. and change this whole goddamn thing. And then here come Eubanks. You remember the round, I think round 10, where he threw a hook, but he was off balance and he almost fell? He caught himself, and I think that Fatal Fury was kind of slippery in the middle.
Yeah, it was. A lot of the fighters were slipping last night.
Yeah. My God, man. And I want you American idiots to understand what they did last night. We have so much talent on our soil right now. We're supposed to do that 3 or 4 goddamn times. Bud and arrow.
And let me say this about the UK fighters overall. When they're contending, when they are on the come up, when they are titleists and former titleists, they fight one another. Local, they fight one another. Just in the past year, we've seen AJ and Dubois. Aren't they both from the UK? And we've seen Fraser Clark and Fabio Wardley.
Yep.
They're both from the UK. We're seeing Kakachi and we're about to see Kakachi and what's his name that knocked out Michael Conlon. Can't think of his name right now.
Shit.
But they're getting ready to fight. We saw Joe Cordina and Kakachi. Those guys are from over there. They're fighting each other. They're not avoiding one another. They're not looking at each other saying, who did he fight or whatever. When someone, there you go, Laywood. Thank you, man. Thank you, Universal Truth. Laywood about to fight Kakachi. These guys, it's not about sunning somebody. It's not about 60-40. It's not about A side, B side. They are fighting. They just mix it up. And sometimes when it's a damn good fight, they fight more than once. It's like, this is what they do. I want to see American fighters turn the page and start doing that. Stop this foolishness about, who has so-and-so fought. And and see, this is the thing, because some people watch my content and some people do not. But Drew, I'm going to ask you, how many times have I done videos and had spoken on live streams when I say that these guys, by tearing down their possible opponents and contemporaries, what should we look at them for? If you sunning everybody and putting everybody else down and saying they don't deserve to fight with you and everything, then why should people be tuned in to you?
Do they tune into your goddamn premieres? You say it almost every day. But I'm going to ask you this, Stormy. Why do you think I was so upset when Bud sat there and said, I don't think Errol is a Hall of Famer? I said, no, brother. You're supposed to be talking of Errol like this was my biggest accomplishment because this was supposed to be my contemporary and I wanted to run it back. But the business and the last thing you do is cut Errol down. That's what I was talking about. These guys.
And I'm going to explain something about that. For anybody that hadn't seen Bud's interview with Shannon Sharp, please check it out. It's a 3-hour interview where they sit down and you get to see a lot about Bud, his personality and things. I'm going to say this about Bud. I don't know him, and I'm not going to make excuses for him, but I will speak in a case of, I think that was just his own hurt feelings talking because people haven't wanted to give him credit for what he does.
You got a chip on his shoulder.
And yeah, and I know in his heart he don't feel that way, but when he's talking to people, even sometimes with the people, not Shannon, because Shannon was pretty good with him. But when he's talking to people, they are always putting somebody above him.
Yeah.
And without acknowledging his accomplishments. It's amazing that we do that to one another as a society in the Western part of the world, because nobody wants to give credit to anybody. And it's like one of the most ridiculous things. It's just like, here it is. I'm on here with you. You're on here with me. And there are people out there watching us, hating on us. Instead of saying like, you know what, these guys do great content. They have great conversations. They have great guests on from time to time. They don't want to do that. But you look up and somebody has emulated something that you've done or presented or said.
Happens all the time.
And it's like you got guys that are now on the zone that have stole from the LDBC.
Oh, from the LDBC, bro. I ain't want to get it.
And it's like they're on there. It's like, are you serious? Everybody can make a buck, but it's like you don't even want to acknowledge when someone is doing something great. It's freaking ridiculous, man, to watch this.
Man, we have so much American talent over here. There's no reason why we can't do this. And I was so impressed. What I'm gonna do right now, I'm gonna drop a link. If there's anybody watching from the UK and you were there, feel free to join the panel and tell me what the atmosphere like. Because, by the way, one of my dreams is to go over to on my bucket list. I want to go to the UK during the big fight, and we're getting close. I want to go to the UK to go because you know why? I love the atmosphere, man. I love the atmosphere. Atmosphere. I love atmosphere. So if you're on Pep Talk or if you're on my Drew Titan LLC, feel free to come up and talk about what you saw last night. You know, give your perspective. Y'all know my brother DOG out there. You know, he out there in the UK holding it down. You know what I mean? Boxing won last night. There was no clown stuff. There was no funny stuff. You know, I mean, we still got to wait a couple of days for drug tests to come back and things of that. But I hope, you know, look, don't ruin this, fellas. Now, what I want to do is I want to play something. Maybe you listen to this. This is Chris Eubanks leaving the ring. He's talking to this guy. What's this guy from Sports Talk? You know his voice, but listen to what he says. Peep this, y'all. Listen to what Eubanks says.
What a night. Well, you know, I was always going to be here for my son, irrespective of what you thought. I mean, it's a show. So suspense is part of the game. Now, the performance, championship rounds, standing toe-to-toe, the credit I want to give to Conor. I told you he was a superior fighter, but he shouldn't be fighting at 160 or 156. He's a 147 fighter. What couldn't he do around the world? He's been destroyed by the people who are handling him, and they have to be brought to account. Do your job. Do your job. Do your job.
You heard that?
Isn't that the same thing I've been saying, though?
Yep.
How long have I been saying this?
You've been saying that.
How long
now I
have
want
I
to point
been
something
saying
out. Eubanks Sr. looked at, and thank you, DOG. It's Garth Davies.
Gareth,
You told him.
Gareth Davies.
Gareth Davies. Do your job. These guys talk about a lot of crap, but not the crap that's important. You understand? He just said, this kid is a 147 fighter. Benn, he's talking about. Now, they talked a lot of negative shit to Eubanks. Stormy, when you sent me the link when he was on their show, that was so interesting. But he just stuck it to him. He said, do your job. Because the community egged this fight on. Realistically, The parents were against it. If y'all don't know, They were against it. The parents were against it. But their sons are men in their own respect, and they decided to do it. He told them, do your job. Do your job. Okay? Do your job. And he's holding them accountable for double talking. Okay? I just want to point. Carl Pena, backstage, turn your camera on real quick so I can make sure you're not a troll or nothing like that. You know, we got to be careful out here. Xavier, what's going on, good brother?
What's going on, brother? How you doing, Stormy?
Hey, what's happening, man? How you feel?
Man, I can't even tell you how excited, and it's like watching that fight last night.
I got you, Carl.
Excited. I'm happy for Eubanks. I'm happy for Benn. I'm happy for all the real boxing fans. Got to watch last night's event. Man, I was really excited, and it was a great fight. Great atmosphere, great story. Uh, I haven't been this excited after a fight in a long time.
Yeah. I haven't been that excited for a fight in a minute.
It was. I was at the edge of my seat. Like, I think the last time, because you're always excited before the fight because of how they sell it to you, right? I
Yeah.
only got to watch it I only watched it by chance. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I had a coupon for DAZN, and I ended up paying like $24 or something like that. So I said,
Yeah,
hey,
me too.
I'll do it. Yeah, so I watched it, and wow, I mean, I don't mean to sound disrespectful towards the American boxing fans, but man, they put us to shame last night.
They did. We
They
put
put
ourselves
us
to
to-
shame. All this talent we got around, and we just not
let
doing
me
shit.
say this just to reiterate,
Facts.
Xavier and chat and panel. They've been putting us to shame for years.
Oh,
I've been
absolutely.
talking about it. I've been saying that the UK has passed up the Western world in boxing. I started saying that like over 3 years ago.
Mhm.
I mean, if you think about it, Stormy, look at the events that the Klitschko's would throw, or Lennox Lewis, all them guys back in the UK and Europe. I mean, I think there was a guy from Ireland that in his pro debut, he had 40,000 people at his pro debut. Michael Collin or something like that. Like, they appreciate their fighters in a way that the United States doesn't. I mean, that's just my observation. Maybe I'm wrong. You guys can correct me if I'm wrong.
Listen,
No.
there's a problem anytime you have an American fighter. Like, you can take any of the more popular American fighters by name, whatever weight class. They get ready to have an event, and their contemporaries don't even come and show support at their event.
There you go.
You don't see all of the guys at Deontay Wilder's fights. You don't see all of the guys at Clarissa Shields' fights. You don't see all of the guys at Bud Crawford's fights. You don't. And see, that right there is telling you what the problem is. But it's sticking right in your face, but nobody wants to talk about it because most people participate in it.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, I tell you right now, I mean, last night opened up a lot of doors for American fighters. They're going to go fight over there.
And they don't have to go over there.
They
They can have it right here, but they don't want to do what they do over there. You can go over there, but if you go over there, you're gonna have to fight somebody.
Yeah, look, listen. I am with you 1,000%. If I'm Devin Haney or any 47-pounder, those guys, they could fight Conor Benn, and it's gonna be an like, dude, the atmosphere was electric. Like, I haven't seen an atmosphere that electric since like WrestleMania.
No, seriously.
No, I'm not even trying to be funny here. Since the Ultimate Warrior fought Hulk Hogan, I haven't seen something so electrifying. You know what I mean?
I remember that. That was 92.
Remember that?
That was 92.
Yeah. Or
see,
90.
even allow me to correct you on that.
Even allow me to correct you on that.
Somebody, Carl, we got
Oh,
feedback.
you got some background, Carl.
Somebody, Carl, we got some background. Carl.
Hey, mines?
Yeah, you're on yours. You got some background noise. Go ahead, Stormy.
What I was gonna say is,
Go ahead, Stormy.
leave Devin out of that consideration because Devin has already gone overseas and won a title and became undisputed when these other guys wouldn't do those things.
Mm-hmm.
Please do not water down what's significant, okay? Because that man went over there and he got the job done. When people were telling him he shouldn't, when people were hoping that he wouldn't, you understand? But he believed in himself and he did it. He accomplished it. This is why you can't just place him to the side as if he's nobody. You see, there's plenty to place aside that are nobodies. But don't get it twisted.
I don't think
And when
that's what
you have
I'm
content
saying.
creators out here, and they do these things to manipulate the masses' mindsets. This is why I keep saying, watch boxing, not an individual. Because if you learn to think for yourself and learn to think outside of the box, you will see everything that I'm talking about comes to fruition. This is not, listen, Tierra Brown was sitting there ringside after beating Sky Nicholson a little over a month ago, okay, in support of Brandon Glanton, who faced former world champion Chris Billum Smith in the first fight on the card. She's sitting right out there yelling and screaming for him. They both are from Florida. This is what I'm talking about. A woman traveled right on over there with her neighbor to give love and support. This is the kind of thing that I'm talking about. How many fighters are out of Florida? And we didn't know Mr. Glanton, but if someone showed up and showed support, maybe that would be enough to boost him and his confidence and help him through the process. The UK people, the Australians, the Mexicans, they all travel for their fighters.
Yeah.
And I'm not talking about people who can't travel, but there's a whole boatload who can, and they don't.
You're absolutely right. I was just looking at it at a standpoint that I think that Devin deserves to have the electrical moments as far as being on a stage like last night, because I don't know that I'm confident he's going to get that here, regardless if he becomes undisputed again because of the American boxing fan. This is no shade to Devin, number one. He is in the forefront, probably got the best resume, 147 pounds down. You know what I mean? Or in boxing, however you want to look at it. But I think that if he went over there, he'd have an electrical stage for him. You get what I'm saying? And
yeah, I know what you're saying. You're saying that because the boxing fans, it's more pure over there. I get what you're trying to say, brother.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, I get it.
And I'm not just talking about Devin. I'm talking about fighters in general. Look, put it this way: the eyes are on next week on Fatal Fury or whatever it's called, Fist of Fury. How that's gonna be, how the turnout for that's gonna be, right? Because now they're competing in events, right? Because if you're a fighter and you saw last night's fight, your eyes is like, man, I'm gonna go fight in Europe, man. You know what I mean? Look, I don't even know how much they got paid last night. I just looked it up. I think they got paid 15 and 12. You know what I mean? That's and awesome. I think Eubanks got like 5 or 6 losses, and he's getting paid $10-15 million a fight. That's crazy. And being on that.
Let me read this super chat real quick. Let me read this. The general's in the building. It says 78 Sports TV. He says, salute to the family. Salute to Eubanks Sr. for coming, showing up for his son, man. That was huge. That was huge.
Yeah, dude.
It was.
I mean, when he came out of that car, it's like watching freaking Stone Cold Steve Austin walk with Bret Hart. You know what I mean? It was crazy. You know?
Carl, my brother Carl. You muted, brother. Come off mute. Brother Carl. You muted, brother. Come off mute.
Is my sound right?
You got something playing in the background.
If you're listening to the show, turn the audio down.
If you're listening to the show, turn the audio that down.
I'm not, but hey, I just want to say shout out to y'all boys. My sound messed up. I don't know what's going on. Salute to y'all. Hey, appreciate y'all. I gotta go.
All right, no doubt, brother. No doubt, good brother. No doubt.
All right, no doubt, brother. No doubt, good brother. No doubt.
Coach Hudson in the building. What's going on?
Peace, family. Can y'all hear me?
Loud and clear, good brother.
Salute
to you, Carl. Salute to you, Carl. Much love.
All right, man. Peace to the family. You know, peace to my comrades, and it's always smoke to the enemy. Shout out to brother Drew Titan and the sensei Stormy B, man. Y'all are cooking. Listen, y'all, I almost broke my laptop yesterday watching the fight. I had no idea that we were in store for what could be the fight of the year. So American boxing fans and American boxers, we have been put on notice. The bar has been set. The electrifying energy that I felt through my laptop when, like the brother was saying, the Eubanks walked into the arena. I have not felt that, like he said, since a WrestleMania type of event. I mean, the Super Bowl didn't shake that hard. So I'm like, man, like what's going on now? Now check it. People are not understanding what we just, like the history that we just saw being made. Conor Benn and Chris Eubank put on a show. And not only that, I was really concerned about Chris Eubanks' weight. I was concerned that he was going to be dehydrated and severely hurt. But hey, man, he made it happen. I wouldn't suggest he does that again. But man, they did. They put it all on the line. And check it. The fights that are coming up this weekend, I know them fighters are sitting there like, man, we really got to bring it. Because what you just saw, I don't care if you've been ducking fights. When you are in the business of boxing and you see something like that as a fighter, it's something in your heart. That warrior spirit that's in you is saying, man, we have to put on a show. We have to give it all we got. Because if not, hey, if the East is putting on more fights like this, and you got people like the Eastern Europeans and the UK fighters putting on these great fights, making us look sorry. Hey, if they take over the sport, that's on us. And you American boxing fans, you all need to listen to what brother Stormy B-Man is saying. You should not be idolizing one fighter. You should be getting behind what makes the sport go forward. Because when you idolize one fighter and you make excuses for them to duck, and we don't get fights like this for 5-10 years, our sport dies. Our sport is on a lifeline. But when you get fights like we just saw last night, it electrifies the whole sport and everybody wins. So if you are idolizing one fighter, hey, when that fighter get up out of here, I need you to pick up your stuff and leave too. I need you to get up out of here because you're not a real boxing fan. But if you are a lover of the sport, hey, I'm not a UK fan, and y'all know Coach Hudson is behind American boxing, but I got to call right. I love boxing. And what I saw last night, look, man, hey, I'm telling you, I almost broke a few things in my crib.
Bro, was you not turned all the way up?
I was going crazy in here, Drew.
Bro, when they put the camera on Frank Bruno, didn't it kind of hit different?
Yeah.
I was like, oh, they go Frank. How do you not? Oh, my God, man.
Frank Bruno, Prince Nassim.
Was Lennox there?
No, Lennox wasn't there, but, you know, when a lot of our legends fight, everybody don't even show up.
Yo, let me ask you something, Coach.
Yeah.
We got this event coming up this week. I got to check my email because I got.
Hey, Drew, I'm gonna step off for a minute. I'll be back.
Okay. I got like all these invites, and I got to figure out which one it is. I need y'all to understand something. They're throwing an event in Times Square. I'm still not clear how they're doing that. Eddie Hearn told Turkey, he says, man, you need to put a door behind this. It would knock the doors off. We got the Barclays in Brooklyn. We got MSG just a few blocks away from Times Square. 12 blocks. It's walkable. Why wouldn't you put a door there? Turkey says, I don't care about no door, but think about it. I don't think they'd ever do that in the UK. I don't think so. You know why? Because, look, man, they wouldn't be able to sustain. I don't even know where they would do it at. They wouldn't be able to sustain anyone from anything in there. But the reason why he can do it in New York is because people be out there shopping, be like, oh, what's going on? Some boxing?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? That's because we don't like the sport like we did 30 years ago.
No, we don't.
These fans today have ADD.
Mm-hmm.
These are the ADD kids. These are the Prozac kids. These are the Ritalin kids. And these are some of the kids that come in our chats talking about they're fans of a fighter, not fans of the sport. That's why I delete them and I block them and everything else. Coach, in your opinion, if there was a door behind this event coming up this weekend, would it even be a sellout?
Let's see. I don't think so.
It's hard to say, right?
It might, but I don't think it's because of the main event though. If it was a sold out, it would be an accumulation of the fan base because they have so many heavy hitters on one card. But I don't think it will be because of one event like this event with Chris Eubanks and Conor Benn. Those two names alone sold out that stadium.
Yeah,
it's going to take this whole card to do something like that.
No, I'm gonna tell you why it's not. It's a very simple reason. And it's going to make some people mad, but I don't give a damn. I've never been concerned about whether I make somebody mad or not. A few years ago, Tank Davis, Devin Haney, Ryan Garcia, and Teofimo Lopez were considered what?
The Four Kings.
Yep.
All right. In the meantime, since that label that is gone, how many of them have faced one another?
Devin and
you had one fight with Tank
Yeah.
and Ryan, and you had one fight with Devin and Ryan, right? And the Devin and Ryan fight, there was controversy attached to it, even leading up through the promotion. There was a lot of bad things going on that said, okay, maybe this fight shouldn't even go off, right? Remember, they were saying.
Yeah.
Now, imagine if these fights took place under the auspices of like what you saw in the UK yesterday. If they were facing one another in a round robin of matchups, instead of avoiding one another, like T.O. went up a weight class to avoid certain guys.
Mm-hmm.
Ryan has been in and out of the realm of this life.
Mm-hmm.
Tank has been avoiding people, okay, and watching like a fat cat in a room, watching rodents run across the floor. But because the cat is so fat and he's full, he don't want to go chase the rodents. So that's been Tank. And Devin has been out here trying to hold everything together like Hercules.
Mm-hmm.
It's been a damn thing. And he's the most vilified and hated.
So, yeah.
Okay. So it's like with all of that chaotic outlook, and the U.S. boxing fan won't get behind the U.S. boxers. They're all U.S. boxers, aren't they?
All of them.
Mm-hmm.
They are all one another's contemporary, aren't they?
Yep.
But they are not doing what is conducive to the sport, to their legitimacies and their legacies.
Mm-hmm.
And then you help by saying, well, why should he fight him? What has he done? Oh, he'll knock him out anyway. Oh,
yeah.
He's not in his league. All of this foolishness.
Come on.
And nothing's taking place. That's why it wouldn't sell out.
Yeah.
And if that didn't exist, Turkey could gladly put it in MSG and let it sell out.
Mm-hmm.
But what he's still trying to do is be creative in the process of bringing together quality matchups. Because these are still quality matchups. Because I'm gonna tell you something, Rolly and Ryan might seem like the one fight that maybe whatever, but psychologically, this is the coming together of some minds that you just got to tune in, because you just don't know what kind of train wreck with that you're going to see.
Don't know what's going to happen.
But when you talk about Devin and Ramirez, that's the quality fight right there, because those two men, multiple world titles between them, Olympic experience in Ramirez and respectability. He fought for undisputed and he lost to Josh Taylor. You know, Devin became undisputed. So there's a lot to be looked at here with those two guys. It's a damn good fight. Teofimo and Arnold Barboza is a up in the air type of deal. Because although Teo is very talented and athletic, Arnold Barboza has been chomping at the bit to get a named fighter on his resume.
Yeah.
And he went over to the UK and took on Jack Catterall, a guy that many people didn't want to fight.
Oh, Stormy, let me ask you a question. Does Teofimo Lopez not have a history of laying eggs in his own city against people he's supposed to beat?
Teofimo has a history of being uncertain. Do I still got it?
Never forget what happened right here in New York with him and George Kambosos. A lot of us didn't even know who the hell he was. Matter of fact, hey, Coach, they spelled George Kambosos' name wrong on the poster out here.
Yep.
They spelled his name wrong. I looked up. I said, that's not how you spell his name. I said, man, they disrespecting this dude. I hope he win. And he won.
Kambosos came over here and beat the brakes off of him.
Beat him up crazy. Almost blew it around 10, but he showed heart.
Yeah, went crazy.
Showed a lot of heart. So I'm not too sure what T.O.'s going to do in this fight. Never forget, this guy, he fights, it seems he fights to the level of his competition. You understand? So, hey, man, this might not be what you think.
Well, you know, brothers, all we are seeing are the chickens coming home to roost.
Yeah.
A year ago, when Turkey was saying what he wanted to do, and people were saying, oh, well, he can't do that because it started looking like the best are going to have to start fighting the best. All we're seeing now are the consequences of that. Those who could have been. See, here's the thing. This is what boxers have to understand. See, Errol Spence could retire right now and would be in a better position than those who have not fought their contemporaries. And this is why. In the sport of boxing, before you get out, you are going to either, most likely, unless you're undefeated your whole career, you're going to take an L. Your decision as a warrior is, do I want to take an L against another guy who is considered the best, or do I want to juggle the chances of me losing to somebody that's a cherry pick going wrong? So look, if Tank had already fought Shakur, had already fought Devin, if he said to us today, hey, I'm going to go and retire, not a soul would say you still need to fight somebody. We will all be okay with that. But see, you take somebody like Errol who fought Terrence. If Errol says, hey, I'm done, of course, as boxing fans, we all would love to see him come back and fight again. But we say, hey, man, we understand. You gave us all you got. And it's getting to the point where I realized when I was watching the Eubanks walk into that arena and that arena shake the way it did, I said, man, imagine if Devin Haney was from the UK. My God, how would they treat him if they had a fighter like that? Do we as American boxing fans even deserve a fighter like Devin Haney that's trying to hold this thing together and watch the disrespect of him, his father, and other boxers who are just trying to fight the best? Do we even deserve it at this point?
No. Coach, before you even pulled up into anyone's chat, I did a whole show about what we don't deserve. Deontay, Devin, Errol, Bud, we don't deserve none of that shit. I'm telling you, we don't. We don't.
Watch that.
They need to be over there somewhere. And that's what Xavier was saying. That's what he meant. Yeah. Because we don't deserve none of this. We don't. We do not. And you said the chickens coming home to roost 100%. And that's why I don't feel sorry for nobody. I don't. I don't. I represent the people that are out here trying to get it done. Errol was getting it done.
Hey,
Bud
Drew.
got it done.
Hey, if Devin Haney was over there in the UK, do you know that they would have him on cereal boxes? They would have action figures. He'd have a TV show. But he's over here dealing with this crap and just wants to show that he's the best. You know, and not to make this about Devin, but people have to understand that when you have warriors like that, like what we saw last night, It don't matter who you like or don't like. You can do nothing but stand up and give a standing ovation for those warriors. And all we are asking, those who are real boxing fans, is that from the fighters here. But this is what's going to happen. The last 10, 15 years, fighters have been able to maneuver, whether it was sanctioning bodies doing it, which I think the sanctioning bodies we need to get rid of them. Whether it's through the sanctioning bodies, whether it through its promoters, the ducking that's been going on, the legendary fights that should have happened 3 years, 5 years earlier, we are paying for the consequences of that. So this next weekend coming up, hey, these fighters have some shoes to fill because the bar has been set.
And the bar's not out of reach. It's just that these motherfuckers ain't jumping for it. That's okay. Stay grounded. Stay grounded. I'm just responding to what my brother Final Boss Luca Moore said. Well, I'll just say this. That guy, the grown adolescent, because I don't call him an adult. Hobiz, the grown adolescent, fuck that nigga. Okay? He's been on the take. He literally sold his cheeks to get what he got. Literally sold his cheeks. And of course he's gonna celebrate Ryan and Devin first fight and disregard the findings. This was the guy that told you that the hair follicle test was gonna exonerate Ryan.
My God.
And it didn't. These niggas out here fought really hard for that kid to be guilty. You had coons on here of all ages talking about, there's a need for Ryan to be wrong. No. Y'all know I got on here when I found out what I found out. What did I say when the investigation was going on? I said, I hope that Vada and Wada was wrong because I don't want to go through this. I just want to move on. But the facts showed us different. And then when we held motherfuckers' feet to the flames, all of a sudden we're the villains. So this dude is a super coon. And I'm telling you, everybody gets what they ask for, even when they don't know they're asking for it. So enough with that. And you see what we're going through here, what I just talked about? They're not dealing with that. Conor Benn got caught with bad eggs, allegedly. You know what they did to him? They kicked his ass out. They suspended him.
Yep.
And guess what they did? You're right. But what did Eddie Hearn do for his client? He got him fights where? Here. So it's no wonder Ryan Garcia can get away with that shit. He couldn't fight in his own country. He was fighting right here in Florida and on our soil. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? This is stupid. Send your criminals here. They already did it to Australia. Y'all know that history?
Mm-hmm.
I ain't got to tell you. Look, all those Australians, you know what their bloodline is? Criminals kicked out of London and England, all of that stuff. That they sent them to Australia, man. Did y'all know that? I don't want to get too historical on y'all. But of course that super coon's gonna do that. And he's further proof why boxing is so fucked off here. Because of niggas like that. Not standing on business. And by the way, people will tell you that they considered Ryan one of the four kings. He didn't do shit. What belt did he hold? He just walked around with a Burger King crown on his head. The fourth king was really supposed to be Lomachenko. And Devin beat his ass too. Let me put emphasis on it. Devin beat his ass. Devin went home and celebrated and ate some food and celebrated with BFTB and the rest of his family. Loma went to the hospital with broken ribs.
In the meantime, Tank just sat back, cowering in the dark shadowed corner and watching Lomachenko from afar.
Come on.
That's what he did. And stinking ass shitty cuz in the ring, snake eyeing him. She had all this disarray. Instead of congratulating the brother that really fought the guy. Yeah, one nigga running. Yeah, one brother actually trying to get stuff done, and everybody's in disarray. This is some crazy work. We get exactly what we deserve over here.
Yep.
We get what we deserve. That's why I ain't gonna feel no way. So don't ever in your life come over here you know, God forbid Tank lose, you already know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna say what happened. Just like if he won, I said what happened. If the nigga lose, I'm gonna say what happened. Don't get mad at me. I'm just gonna say what happened, like I always do. Don't get mad with me. Get mad with yourself. Love the sport. Y'all don't even know, man. You niggas don't even know how to score a goddamn boxing match.
Come on.
Whole time there's work going on, and y'all counting the glitter on his goddamn shorts.
His
Y'all
brother.
are stupid as hell. Let me tell you the illest things that ever happened to me while watching boxing. Check this out. Y'all remember when Hector Camacho fought Oscar De La Hoya? Y'all remember that? Okay. The night that fight happened, I was in the strip club. I wasn't working either. I stopped what I was doing and sat at the bar to watch the fight. Everybody was just doing their thing or whatever, and I'm just watching the fight. And there was it wasn't a knockdown in the fight, but it was a tackle. And they both fell to the ground. I said, oh, I hope they're all right. When people just looked over their shoulder, because everybody hated Oscar in the bar for whatever reason, they just turned around. It was like, yeah. And I'm like, yo, they fell. There was no knockdown, bro. That's y'all fans. Y'all kind of watch the fight, but y'all don't watch what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all kind of watch boxing, but y'all don't know what's going on. Therefore, you're easily manipulated. You believed everything that was told to you about Floyd Mayweather. You believed everything that was told to you about Muhammad Ali back in the days. You believe everything that's told to you about Devin Haney. You have no clue about the inner workings of what's going on. You jump on a bandwagon of hate because that's what you see the most of the people on, but you don't know that train about to crash.
Come on.
You have no idea. So get your ass on that bullet train to hell. Because when it's up in smoke, that's going to be the only time I'm going to light a cigar over it in celebration of you dying. Y'all remember I did the live that said, this shit needs to burn? I mean it. I really mean it. And it's burning. Because y'all going to turn around and Devin's going to be on top of this mountain like, yo, I'm doing everything. Look at my resume. Look at this. And they're showing me love. And y'all going to be so mad when the guy that you dick ride is gone. And he needs to, you need to go with him. When he goes, you need to go with him. I don't care who it is. Go, get out. I support the sport. I was supposed to close my channel if Floyd lost. He retired, I don't care. I was supposed to close my channel when Errol lost. Still here. Supposed to close my channel when Deontay lost. Still here. I was supposed to close my channel when Devin lost. Still here. You know why? The sport's gonna be here when they're long gone. And I'll be here talking about it. Now, if you was here watching me just to laugh at me when the fighter I supported lost, okay, now you're gone. And I'm cool. What are you doing? You're blowing the dude that beat him? You're not even blowing the dude that beat him. You just don't like this guy. That's what makes you feminine. I compare you guys to the girls I went to school with that got mad when I say, hey, man, I'll Be Sure sounds horrible live. Next thing you know, they chasing me around the school. Shut up, don't be talking about my baby. You don't even know the nigga. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Y'all don't like me because I call out the nonsense when I see it? Fine. Because while y'all are acting like this, what I saw last night, that event had everything.
Man.
That event had everything. And you know what? Although I firmly believe, see now, Chris Eubanks Sr., he believes that Benn didn't know what he ingested. He believes that. And he's very adamant about the people around him fucking him up. He believes that.
Mm.
He always talks about the people around him. That's why I'm looking at Benn Sr. I'm like, you know what, bro? He's saying what we've been saying. You got to watch these people around you, bro.
Mm-hmm.
He said eggs. Maybe Ben was told, yo, you just say it was the eggs. Go with the eggs. And then offset his shit for 24 months. But now he's back and all is forgiven.
Hey.
Go ahead.
You know what, Drew? I don't want to change the subject, but I want people to think about this that really don't know the sport like that. anytime a fighter, now think about this for a second, the commission is supposed to catch when someone's cheating with gloves. That's who's supposed to catch it.
Yep.
If you study the history of boxing, almost every time loaded gloves have been caught was either by a trainer, coach, or cornerman in that person's corner. Now watch this. When Deontay Wilder fought Tyson Fury the second fight, in that first round, Tyson Fury had dropped Wilder, and Wilder had looked up like, what the hell did you just hit me with? And things like that kept happening through the fight. Not one person in Deontay Wilder, now these are people that have been in the sport for decades. Not one person said, hey, ref, check his gloves. Hey, somebody check his gloves. Because first of all, I don't remember any fight where Fury had his opponent leaking like that or had this amazing power. The first fight, he didn't have his power like that. Check that man's gloves. Why? What am I bringing this up for? What does this mean? What I'm pointing out is when you have the right team around you, they're going to keep certain things from happening. When Floyd was about to go against Madonna the second time, who caught that trick they were trying to do with them gloves? It was Leonard Ellerby. And Leonard Ellerby said, hey, get the whole team. The fight's about to be called off. The team was like, well, why y'all gonna call the fight off? Because you all have gloves with no padding in them.
Mm-hmm.
And you all think that these people around you, this is still a corrupt sport. So when you all get on here and you say, well, I'm a real boxing fan and I don't care about race, but then you defend a cheater, you are a liar. You are a COINTELPRO boxing fan. You are not a real boxing fan. Because if you are a real boxing fan, you would know that you are playing with someone's life when you inject PEDs in you, still come in overweight, try to fight the person. It's past boxing. You trying to do something else. And if you can defend that, I know who and what you are.
You see this man in the picture? See that?
Mm-hmm.
That's it right there. Him, this motherfucker. Unforgiving. I ain't never gave him no water. We clearly see you giving him water. I couldn't believe he said that shit. I ain't never gave him no water. We see you giving him water. What do you mean? All right, bro. Coach, if I told you how many people were removed from that camp after that,
I believe it.
Tay Jones will tell you, because he was there for the whole goddamn thing.
I believe it.
When we talked about it, all of a sudden we're the fanboys, and we hear. I'm like, yo, the camp is telling me this. What the fuck are you talking about? You know, you know, you can't do that because the sanctioning bodies, they have agents in the locker rooms. My brother Cano Loco said he's been in locker rooms and he's looking at the goddamn officers and they're on the phone playing Candy Crush.
Yeah, they're not paying attention.
They ain't paying attention. You know, how did Gabriel Mastery get to the goddamn ring with skin gloves?
Mm-hmm.
They were signed off.
Yep.
They were signed off. What are we talking about, man?
They're not paying attention. But people don't know boxing like that.
No, they don't. They just know who they like and who they don't like, man. It's crazy out here. But, you know, you American fans, while y'all are, you know, throwing tomatoes at each other and picking sides and making it gang warfare, something that I'll never understand. The UK literally kicked your ass last night.
My God.
They kicked your ass last night. I'm about to watch it again.
I'm telling you. Shoot.
That was fight of the goddamn year. And that fight was not on my radar. But after round 2, I said, yo, he's still throwing. Round 5, he's still throwing heat. I said, do you know, it'd be real interesting if one of those hooks go in, and I'll be damned. Eubanks got wobbled, and I said, oh. And I found myself standing up. I said, am I into this fight? I said, yes, I am.
Yeah.
Yes, I am. And then Benn just showed an outstanding chin, and he's the smaller guy, y'all. But there was an element of danger the whole fight. And shout out to Eubanks, because he could have kept him on the tip of that jab all night. But he mixed it up.
Yep.
The championship rounds, you know what he did? He did, but now I wish Lamont Roach did.
Took it to him.
It wouldn't have been a draw. It'd have been a win.
Yep, took it to him.
Just take it to him because, you know, it's like, yo, you ain't going to win. You're winning, but you ain't going to win.
Yeah.
You know what you got to do.
Yeah.
And I wish that, Chris Eubanks said, you know what, ain't no draw here tonight. And he started walking forward. And he was eating some shit too.
Yeah.
Those body shots.
Some
my
and
God.
You know they was hurting. He got hit with one body shot that knocked him back like 3 steps. And I said, God, he don't go down.
Man, I know he was pissing blood. He might not say it though. What I will tell you is both of those men showed heart.
Yes, sir.
This is a career-defining fight for them, and the fact that they're second generation from their dads, holy shit, man! And the UK has everything to celebrate in a main event and an overall event. I was not disappointed. I was not disappointed, man, at all, man, at all. Would I see it again? Yes. That you know how we are up in arms over Gaddy Ward?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was their Gaddy Ward, but with a better boxing mind, I will say.
Yeah.
Better boxing mind.
I was just thinking that. You and Sensei got a little age on me. I was thinking yesterday, I was like, man, I can't think of a fight where a father-son duo got that type of reception when they came into the arena like that. Like, I can't remember.
I think the UK is literally taking boxing back because we had it for a while.
Yeah.
They've taken it back. I ain't mad because, we're in the age of technology. I could just turn shit on. That 128 fighter tournament, the WBC, I could just turn it on.
Yep.
Ain't nobody in America talking about that shit but me and Stormy.
Yep.
You know what I mean? I love boxing. I was that dude watching Tuesday night fights, Friday night fights. The fucking boxing. I don't even remember the name of the program that came on Telemundo. Because I would have to flip between Friday night fights on ESPN and Telemundo. Or was it Galavision? I forget. Everything was in Spanish, but those were the best fights.
Mm-hmm.
That was the first time I saw Rocky Juarez on there. I was like, damn, man. I love boxing. Then if you're lucky, you got Tuesday night fights. You had Friday night fights in Galavision, wherever it was. And then you had some boxing after dark on Saturday.
Yep. All week.
Come on, man. Heaven for me. But I love the sport. See, y'all ain't like us. That's what I like to talk about. The rest of you niggas, go wave your pom-pom for Mellow Yellow or whoever you want to wave. Go do what it is. Do what you do. I'm good. All right? When that kid retires, go with him. Go follow Jake Paul, whatever it is you want to do.
Please.
Yeah, just stay away from me, bro. That's all you got to do. That's cool. You don't like what I'm saying? That's cool. You don't like what Stormy's saying? That's cool. Coach, you don't like what they say? Cool. Stay away from. I'm talking boxing here. And let me be clear. I don't know everything. So if you have anything to come up here to add, please add it. If I'm wrong on something, please correct me. Please be respectful, though. I'm up for a conversation. I like talking with people of like mind because I love the sport first.
Man, they
That's
don't
why
hear
my channel's not closed. I don't care if a fighter I support leaves because the sport's gonna be here. I'm old enough to be Devin Haney's father. I've been watching boxing before that kid was born, man. It's here before him. It's going to be here after him. Where y'all going to be? When Tank retire, where you going to be? When Bud retire, where you going to be? All these guys retire. When Errol retire, I don't know if he's retired now. When he retire, where you going to be? I'm going to be here. Where are you going to be? God willing, I'm going to be here talking about the sport. Where y'all niggas going to be? I'm going to be here.
Yeah, the idol worshipers, you just got to wait them out. Just like when there was a lot of Manny Pacquiao fans that really were just Floyd haters. I ain't heard them in years. You know what I mean? Now,
the
sometimes
AJ fans, they're gone.
Yeah, sometimes they come back in the form of reincarnated haters, and they act like they have a new favorite, but it's really just a hate on somebody else that reminds them of the person they hated originally. So a lot of guys that hate on Devin really hated on Floyd. And they feel like, you know, this was their chance to reincarnate as a hater back into the sport. But I see you for what you are. But what do you all think Conor, his next move should be? Conor Benn's next move?
Glad you asked. Eubanks Sr. says he's 2 divisions south of where he needs to be. He's really a welterweight. Right now, based off of what I've seen, and based off what we heard, did we not hear he just knocked out Skull in sparring? I don't know if that was game or not. That's what I heard.
Yeah, that's what they say.
Probably one of those crazy hooks. At 147, he's in the mix with everybody. 147, man. Look, I don't know how much this fight took out of him. Let's just say that. I don't know. Because he might be feeling kind of strange this morning. You understand? So he needs to get checked out and he needs to get some rest.
Yeah, he feeling that.
Right. And I think he needs to this is where he needs to sit down and start planning. If he's going to go back down where he feels comfortable, if it is 147, namesake, this is going to be the part. I need y'all to listen to me very carefully. Y'all motherfuckers trust Eddie Hearn? He likes to butter you up. I just heard how he bigged up Boots. Do not be surprised.
Come on.
Next year, he butters Boots up and says, yo, did you see Eubanks and Benn? I could do the same shit for you if you come over to the UK and fight this kid. All those stars and fireworks and shit. Buttering him up. And Conor Benn's gonna go in there and try and knock Boots' head off. And I'm gonna tell you something, man. All that heart in that crowd, something crazy would happen.
Oh yeah, it'd be electrifying.
Crazy would happen, you know. And I already have a thing about, you know, checking water and everything out. But bullshit aside, Benn will be going in there to lose, man. That is not a walk in the park fight for Boots. You know, I'll be rooting for Boots. To the Boots fans, stop it. I'm just telling you what I think. I will be rooting for Boots. There, I said it. But if Hearn, he can convince him, you want to fight in Philly? Come on. Philly? You saw what we do in my country. You saw what we do. Come on, Wembley, fireworks. Come on. Benn, what if you beat Benn? Come on. Philly? No. They barely come out. You make more money. Back in money. Come on, chop. And Boots' ass will be right over there.
Yep, talking good to him.
Talking good, but where's Hearn's heart? It'll be with Benn.
Oh, yeah.
Come on, man. Good day, love. Come on. And if Benn go in there and score one on him, oh, my. But let me tell you this. I'm going to tell you what's a good fight. If he goes down to 147, Conor Benn versus Brian Norman is a hell of a fight.
Man, stop playing.
That's a hell of a fight. Conor Benn versus Brian Norman. Holy crap. And I'm going to tell you something else. If he cannot land the Boots fight for any reason, he need to shoot straight at Conor Benn if he's coming to 147. Just do it. Fuck the belts, y'all. Y'all listen to names anyway, right? Make the fight. I'm all for it. Stormy, what do you think should be next for Conor Benn?
Long vacation. A long vacation because he sustained a lot of punishment in that fight. I know he's shown his dad that he's got heart and fighting spirit and everything. But someone mentioned earlier, I don't know who that was that said something about Kell Brook. But yeah, Hearn has done that again. Taking a good welterweight and put him in a fight against a middleweight. Totally unnecessary. I understand the themes of the fathers and all of that, but without him even challenging for a world title yet, the world title might have just got a little further away from him with the residual of what transpired yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
It's obvious that a world title shot is not in Eubanks Jr.'s plans, because he's had opportunities at certain fighters. Janabek, Canelo, I think even Adames, he's been offered these fights and he's turned them down. He even was offered a fight against Hamza Shiraz, which is another, guy from over there in the UK, and he turned that down. So as far as Benn is concerned, long layoff, and if he does come back, work on slowly the weight off to return to 147.
Yeah.
Because he's nothing but cannon fodder / food at 154. There are so many fighters at 154. It's like opening up your fence in your backyard in the middle of the night and you turn the flashlight on and you see all those little eyes looking at you. That's what it's like in the 154-pound division. There's a lot of fighters there. And one guy that I keep bringing his name up at 154 that nobody talks about, but is more deserving than almost any other fighter there at another shot, is Erickson Lubin. Lubin is a good fighter.
Yeah.
And nobody is thinking about him. Yeah, he stepped in a little premature against Charlo, but that was a few years back. He had a good comeback. He beat that Ramos kid.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden has fallen into obscurity because nobody is looking at him because they know how dangerous he is. But you don't hear his name. But I keep talking about him. Now, but the welterweight division, you know, by the time 2026 comes around, Boots will probably be moving on, and Conor Benn will have opportunities there. There will be a host of young guys that they're right in his peer group. The Haneys, the Garcias, the Romeros, the Teofimos, those guys are going to be at 147, 2026. That's going to be where they swim. And it would be great for him to get an opportunity against any of those guys.
He coming right in and getting the mix.
Yeah, absolutely. But those are my thoughts about it, because he's just a little too small for the middleweight division.
Yeah.
And those are nice guys to look forward to facing. Like I said, those are his contemporaries. They're all around the same age.
Yeah.
You all made me think of something. Who was managing Amir Khan when he fought Canelo?
Well, it wasn't he wasn't married, but I think Khan was a matchroom fighter.
At that time, he was matchroom?
I think he was. I'm not 100% certain, but I think he was.
Yeah, it seems to be this unnecessary amount of damage that sometimes Eddie Hearn is not afraid to put his own fighters in that maybe, he shouldn't be putting them in, especially at the stage of their career that they're at before getting these titles.
You know what that appears to be to me? And I could be wrong, but it's not about the matchups with Hearn when he puts guys in those kind of matches. I believe it's about the money they make off of the fighter.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Because if you think about it, he's not putting them in against the best fights, right? But he's putting them in circumstantial fights. And think about this. How much money did Hearn make off of Conor Benn yesterday? I would love to have that answer. Same with AJ. He wouldn't fight Deontay Wilder, but he would put AJ in these other fights that you know that a fight against Wilder is going to bring more revenue, but he didn't want that. It was like what he can milk for himself for Matchroom.
Mm-hmm.
And the sooner that people recognize, and I don't even like to talk about the finances of boxing, but it just appears to me that when he does things like this, like Kell Brook was the welterweight champion of the world.
Mm-hmm.
He throws him in there against Triple G, who was in the midst of being at his strength and power days. Mm-hmm. And that was not a fight that Brook needed to face. He could have faced Sean Porter in a rematch. He could have faced Errol earlier. He could have faced Danny Garcia or someone like that. It was like, why would you do that for this? And you have to understand that some kind of way Eddie benefited off of that. It's just like with Boots right now. He is doing what he's gonna benefit off of Boots.
Exactly.
Yep.
That's what he's doing.
And that's my concern. That's why, Marco, what up, brother? That's what I'm saying. He said a lot about Boots that made you feel good, didn't it?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I said, you know what? This guy's so full of shit. His eyes are brown, man. I see right through all of that, man. And then it didn't dawn on me until, because I thought about this, coach. I'm like, well, what is he going to do next? And I said, oh, shit. He just bigged up Boots like he was from the UK.
Yep.
And Ben was on the receiving end of an L. And then Eubanks Sr. says he needs to be at 147. What you think he going to do?
Mm-hmm. Move him up.
Preserve Boots, and Boots' first fight overseas is going to be in the UK versus Conor Benn. If it goes in that direction, mark my words.
I can see it.
Is okay, and they're saying, well, what do you do? I'm going back to 147. Boots might have an in-between fight, and then next you know, Ben will be on Twitter talking shit, chatting shit to him. Chat shit, get banged, and Boots going to be over there with the fireworks and everything. I'm telling you, they're gonna be hoping for a Joe Calzaghe, fucking Jeff Lacey remix.
I can see it,
man.
I can see it.
Be on the lookout, man. But Conor Benn, he could make some noise at 147. I ain't even gonna hold you. He's not a trash fighter, but I need to see how he performs after this, because this is one of those fights. Towards the end of that fight, Eubanks was walking forward. He was landing some crap on him, man.
Yeah.
And his mouth was open, but he ain't give up. And sometimes, you know, you can have heart and have a chin, but we all see Riddick Bowe now, right?
Yeah.
He had heart, he had chin, but Sensei tells me this all the time. He pinpointed the exact time when he started talking slow, and that was after that damn Galata fight. Right after that fight, they put the mic in his face, and he was slurring then. And he got since then. Right after that fight. Y'all can look it up.
Yep, pinpoint. That was right then. It was right then.
I think Bowe cheated himself during the preparation for that Galata rematch. I think he lost weight unnaturally and drained himself too much, and he may have suffered brain trauma as a result of that. If a lot of people may not remember this, but in the very first round, Galata hit him with a 1-2 and dropped him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He hit him with a 1-2, and Bowe walked sideways like this and just fell, collapsed. It was like he came in at 235, which was like what he weighed when he fought Holyfield the first time, the first fight a few years earlier, and that was a great weight for him. But that was a great weight when he was in shape, properly trained and everything. I think he lost weight a bad way for that fight, because he was a little heavier in their first fight. But, you know, again, taking punches and sparring and stuff like that, that stuff accumulates. But the fight with Galata, he got hit a lot in that second fight.
Yeah.
Galata's hand speed, he wasn't able to deal with it very well.
Yeah.
And Galata was a strong man. He didn't have one punch knockout power, but he's a strong man, a 245-pound man hitting you upside your head, man. You know,
and see that's my only critique of Conor Benn last night. I felt like he had the perfect atmosphere to take advantage of Chris Eubanks' weight cut. But man, he came in there with the wrong game plan. It's like he came in there trying to knock him out in the first 4 rounds. And, you know, instead of boxing him, he should have boxed Eubanks to about the 6th or 7th round and then turned it up. But hey, you don't play, you never play with the bigger guy like that, because even though he might have had a bad weight cut, you don't know how you're going to take his shots. So I feel like it was a perfect recipe for what we saw last night.
And he was head hunting. He was head hunting.
It was no body work.
In the third quarter of the fight, he started throwing a very good combination of like a double hook to the body, left hook, and that punch was really debilitating Eubank. And he was hitting him, boom, boom, and Eubank was responding to it, and he hit him again, boom, boom. But he so wanted to hit him upside the head that he would get away from what he was doing successful. You know, and that gave a little lead room for not only Eubank to recover from what was effective against him, but to get back to doing other things that established Eubanks, you know, better position in certain moments. So it was, like I said, it was one of those weird things where there was so much ebb and flow to this fight throughout the entire event, from first to end of rounds, that it's just very rare that you see men fight on 10 for 12 rounds.
Yeah, it won't tell from round one. Let me address my brother Brian Dungy in the chat. He says, "I'm sorry, Drew, but this fight is getting way too much credit in my opinion. 160 versus 147, and Benn never truly made it close. Eubanks made the fight a lot harder than it needed to be." But then the brother says, "It was fun to watch Benn getting cracked, though." Now, that last part you just said, it was fun to watch. That right there. That right there. That right there. And in my opinion, brother, and you're entitled to your opinion, Brian. In my opinion, the fight, being that there's a big weight difference, I felt that Eubanks would dominate him and stop him, actually. That's why I really didn't talk about it. But what I found was the weight cut probably is what kept Benn in the fight. And at the end of the day, towards the middle of the fight, both of those men, both of their handicaps showed, and it evened out, and they started thumping.
Perfect.
Both of them were handicapped. One was overweight, out of his normal weight class. That's what I mean. And the other one was dehydrated from his normal weight, and it evened out.
Exactly.
And we had a great event.
The perfect storm.
That's why I appreciated what was being done. But I hear what you're saying about Benn, though, because he's a cheater. I'm not going to get away from that. He's a cheater. But the overall event, everything evened out that I didn't even realize.
Yep.
So,
there's something else that I would like to add about the matchup.
Go ahead.
First of all, Conor Benn cannot box at all. He's just like his dad in that respect. He's a punching fighter. You know, he just gets in there to get after it with punches. Anyone who has a jab can stop him at the door. Secondly, being so limited in that regard, what happens is knockouts are set up.
Yep.
One thing that I've noticed about the UK guys, they still have this adopted mindset that, you know, I'm going to knock you out. I'm going to knock you out. You have to set knockouts up. You don't just go up there and hit and the guy goes, "Oh, I'm knocked out." You know, it don't happen like that.
Right.
And typically what they like to do is hang a lot on a guy having a punch.
Yeah.
For guys who have tested positive from over there, I think a great deal of that falls in the category of them entering fights with a punch. If you listen to the promoter, Frank Warren, he likes to say, this guy is really good. He's coming along and he can punch. Goodness, he can punch. That's what he hangs a fighter's ability upon. And it's something that they have over there, that they think that a guy with a punch is going to win it. But skills pay the bills. They always have. Mm-hmm. And to be able to set knockouts up, you have to be able to do something that is part of a game plan.
Yep.
Planning to go upside someone's head, that's not really a plan, because everybody's going to go upside one another's head once the bell rings. It's just that some people get out front and ahead, and some people get that edge. And, you know, if you're second or you're behind, you can find yourself in trouble. However, if you watched the fight last night, whenever Eubanks was pumping that jab, Conor was having trouble.
Yep.
And had he stuck with pumping that jab, he could have got a knockout later in the fight.
He could have.
Because the way he was landing the jab, Conor's head was totally snapping back like this. And what follows up with that jab? A good right hand or a good uppercut. And you saw him land a couple of good uppercuts on Conor that was like rocking it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But what did Buster Douglas do to Mike Tyson? Jab him, bam, bam, step over, give him an angle, throw a couple of combinations, but keep that jab in his face. And then in that 10th round, the uppercut.
Pop.
Fight was over.
Let me say something, Stormy. If they fight again, probably 2 years down the road, because rematches don't need to happen immediately. I'm gonna say Eubanks will fight a different fight, a more disciplined fight. He ain't gonna go on the inside and do it. It'll be a different fight, a more boring fight. And I'll give you all guys an example. And he'll win it. He'll win it by unanimous decision if you don't knock him out. But Gatti Ward 1 was a war. Everyone talks about it. Gatti Ward 2, Gatti smoked Mickey Ward. You know why?
He boxed.
He boxed. Gatti Ward 3, same thing. He smoked him out. Because he got with, what's his name?
Buddy McGirt.
Buddy McGirt. And Buddy McGirt says, no, we ain't doing that. That's not how, I'm not coaching you to win that. Gatti, you remember, Toro, you remember how to move side to side? You remember head movement? That's what we're going to do. And he smoked Mickey Ward. Dropped him how many times, Stormy? Once or twice, right? But he dropped Mickey Ward. It was a different fight.
Yep.
And I don't think Eubanks wants to do that again, because he wants to have a little more years added to his career. And you can't fight like that every day. And you can't go past 3 years fighting like that at all. So this time he'll put that pole in his chest.
All he has to do is watch the film of his dad's performance against Nigel in their first fight. Man, he was pumping that jab in Nigel's face, and Nigel was trying to slip and get in to throw power punches, but Chris was like, bam, bam, bam.
Yep.
Every once in a while dropping that right hand on his chin.
Yep.
But and moving, because punchers have to pick their feet up to come after you when they can't plant and throw if they're on the move trying to catch up to you.
But you know, go ahead, Stormy B.
No, you go ahead.
I just want to say that Conor Benn, one of his hardest challenges is he does not translate his training into the ring well. I've watched a few of his camps, and I watched him come up with the game plan. He didn't do any of the things. They were working on a lateral step drill the whole training camp, and it was to slip Chris Eubanks' jab, get up under him, whether he does a lateral to the right or lateral step to the left. Get up under him the same way Mike Tyson used to do the peekaboo switch. It was kind of like that. And at the live workout, you could actually see them working on the drill.
I think under the moment and under the lights, he just completely throws everything out the window and goes back to punching. And he has to learn how to stick to the game plan. Because I'm gonna tell you, if he would have started slipping Chris Eubanks' jab and hitting him to the body from the beginning of the fight, it would have been a completely different fight. But he didn't do that.
Well, let me say this about that. He could have done that, and the fight probably wouldn't have been as exciting as it was, because it started off with him winging. However, if he's doing that and Chris is put in a position to pump the jab and everything, what a lot of people don't recognize about that aspect of being a boxer, if you moving behind your jab, whether it's forward, to the left, to the right, stepping, half step back, whatever you're doing, eventually you're going to catch a rhythm. That is why the jab is the most important punch in boxing, because it establishes the rhythm of a fighter. It doesn't matter if it's landing or not, but you got to get that, you got to shake it out. And what happens is, even for a guy that's moving well, the movement that he's doing to avoid the jab is going to slow down after a couple of rounds anyway, because that's difficult, being that dexterous, trying to move and come forward, and sometimes you catching it too. That's why it's better to move in like what Joe Louis used to do, that little shuffle, you feint, you jab, and when the guy punches, you learn how to anticipate, and you slip outside or you slip inside. You never slip the same way on a consistent basis, because the guy will eventually set you up for the follow-up shot. So when you're punching your jab, you executing, and you mix the rhythm of your jabs up. You don't just jab, jab, jab. Sometimes you jab, pop. Sometimes you mix it up, pop, pop. Sometimes you pop, pop. You understand? It's like you have to be able to mix up a cadence. It's just like in the quarterback, you know, at the offensive line, how he causes cadence for the ball to be hiked. When guys catch his rhythm of doing that, they jump off that line and they get back there in the backfield quicker. But a smart quarterback like a Peyton Manning, he learned how to change that stuff up, and he draw guys off sides all the time. You know, it's there is a method to the madness. But if you don't have the ability to do the things that you need to do to get the plan going, you're going to be at a deficit. And again, the rhythm of the jab is very important. I keep saying, a guy can win a fight with a jab alone.
Facts.
Yeah. He never really Benn never really caught the rhythm of the jab, because he was too busy focused on his offense, and he didn't take time to read what Eubanks was doing. I saw it immediately. But if you have a high ring IQ and great timing, and this kid is young, and he has some speed, but a lot of those hooks was well anticipated. Now, he was anticipating those wild ass hooks. If he'd have just took his time to download the data, he may have been able to anticipate a jab that he's shorter. But something that Mike Tyson used to do, something you see Floyd Mayweather do with guys that have longer reach than him and are bigger than him. That pole counter, the glove, you will swear you're about to hit him in his face. And he will anticipate where he could kiss your glove. While your hand is out off a jab, he's fast enough to punch back with his right hand. If Benn had watched just for a little while and caught a rhythm of his jab, of Eubanks' jab, he might have been able to do something like punch over his jab. Okay, he's about to throw it. He's already rolling. He's already rolling and throwing a wild hook over his jab.
But check it, Drew.
He wasn't patient. There was no patience at all.
But check it. At the live workout, you could actually see them when he was doing pad work with the body pad on. they were actually working on that drill because now that I'm mentioning Conor Benn's weakness, see, Chris Eubanks' weakness is even when he's popping his jab, Chris Eubanks does not like to turn. And what I mean is, if you all go back and watch Devin Haney versus Lomachenko, one of Lomachenko's best attributes is his lateral steps and his being able to pivot while he's throwing his offense to get to the side of you. So when he was fighting Devin would keep turning with Lomachenko. Even if he would catch that rear hand, he would still turn with Loma. Eubanks, if you go back and watch Eubanks versus Liam, when he fought Liam kept turning Eubanks because when Eubanks throws his jab, he throws a hard, stiff jab instead of throwing a open hand jab the way Larry Holmes used to throw his jab, a quick flick jab, if you will. He throws a strong, stiff jab, and he doesn't like to turn. Now, also on top of that, he doesn't like to punch down. So Conor Benn would not have had to use as much energy to get out of the way because he's already punching down. So the drill that they were going over was, all you got to do, brother, is do the lateral step, hit your combinations, and then move again. Whether you're going to the right, whether you're going to the left, whether you're doing a lateral off the rope, whether you're doing a 90-degree pivot or 180-degree pivot, they were working on basically the Cuban style of moving your feet, and he didn't execute any of it because all he had to do really was get up under Chris Eubanks and go to that body from beginning to end, but he didn't do any of that. He went straight to head hunting and going to war, and it didn't work out for him.
Man, so much to unpack here, man, but it's about a little after 9. I'm about to roll. Coach Hudson, man, let them know how they can find you, good brother.
Hey, people, just follow me at Coach B Hudson on YouTube or Instagram and lock in.
Absolutely, man. Thank you for hanging out with us, brother.
All right. Peace, brothers.
Yes, sir.
Peace.
Stormy, let them know they can find you, good brother.
Everybody can find me right out here on YouTube, man. The channel is Stormy B Man. That's Stormy B Man in all caps, but no cap.
And go follow both of us on Patreon. I got a assembly line of stuff. Sorry I'm late with the Patreon stuff, but I have a full-time life, y'all. But I have some time, and I'm gonna buckle down and start pumping out content over there. Well, I have content, I just haven't uploaded it yet. But bear with me, fellas. Go subscribe to the Patreon. I'll be live tomorrow. It's gonna be a quick show tomorrow because I got some business I have to take care of. So I might be on for no more than an hour, from 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time to 10:30 a.m. So salute to everybody in the Venmo, the Cash App, Super Chat. It's boxing, y'all. And when something's great happening in the sport, we're going to talk about it. When it's bad, we're going to talk about it. And I don't care who it is. Everybody can get it, good or bad over here. So salute to y'all. And yeah. Bronx on deck.
Move! Why are you gay?
Who says I'm gay?
You are gay.